Today I just wanted to jump on here quickly just to reflect on yesterday's inauguration that took place in the United States of the new President Joe Biden and the new Vice President Kamala Harris. And what a day it was yesterday. Wasn't it just absolutely incredible? It really was a tale of two halves, actually. Watching the inauguration and watching what happened before the inauguration, seeing the former President Donald Trump leave the White House and leave Washington after 4 years in the job. And, you know, before I even get to talking about yesterday, I think just reflecting on the last 2 years, really, this is a campaign, this is an election cycle that I followed so closely. If you know me personally, you'll know that I absolutely love American politics. I'm pretty much absolutely obsessed with it. And so I even just thinking back now to January the 12th, 2019, on that day, the first candidate to announce their bid for the White House in the 2020 cycle was Julian Castro, and he was Obama's Secretary for Housing and Urban Development. And he announced his bid, and then over the months that followed, many more candidates would announce their bids. Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, Andrew Yang, John Hickenlooper, Tim Ryan, Marianne Williamson, Michael Bloomberg. Remember Michael Bloomberg? My God. It was like 24 candidates or something that ended up running, but in the end, it was the former Vice President Joe Biden who prevailed, and he was sworn in alongside his one-time debate sparring partner Kamala Harris. You remember that back in the first debate in the summer of 2019, when Kamala Harris went after Joe Biden big time over their disagreement about the policy of busing, Kamala Harris was arguing that she was bused to school, and that was something that was really good in her upbringing, and that gave her the education that she needed to rise to the top of her game in the world of law and in the world of politics. And now it's absolutely fascinating to see the both of them together as one team, taking their oaths of office and now becoming President and Vice President of the United States. Joe Biden, the oldest president in history. Kamala Harris, the first woman to serve as Vice President, the first black woman to serve as Vice President, the first woman of South Asian descent to serve as Vice President. A truly historic moment. So many little girls will be watching around the world, looking at Kamala Harris, thinking, there is nothing that I cannot do. There is absolutely nothing stopping me from getting to the top of my game in whatever field that may be. And that's such a powerful image to see. And of course, Kamala Harris is someone who is incredibly, absolutely qualified for the job that she's been in. Very experienced, knows her way around the big leagues, and she's going to be an amazing Vice President. Joe Biden, of course, will be an amazing President of the United States. We all know who Joe Biden is. We all love Joe Biden. Whether you agree with him politically or not, we can all agree he's a good man, he's a decent man, and I can tell you that across the UK and across Europe, big sighs of relief. Yesterday evening when he was inaugurated, big sighs of relief in European capitals. Certainly in the UK, the consensus is, thank God Joe Biden was elected. All of the papers this morning, no matter what their political leanings, all of them very supportive of President Biden. And so that is something we will see play out in the months ahead, how his relationship with Boris Johnson develops. We do know that they do disagree on certain things, Brexit being the main thing that they disagree on, and how they sort of square that circle and make the relationship work, the special relationship, how they make that work is going to be very important to see. Just back to the inauguration. It was a day of two halves, right? So the morning you had President Trump leave town, skip the inauguration. He decided to leave early. He got in the helicopter, Marine One, with his wife Melania Trump. They get to Joint Base Andrews. He gives a quick speech. Melania says a few words, and then it was the funniest thing that happened. And I'm telling you, it's really weird how this presidency has been the most chaotic presidency ever, and yet still the final moments of Trump's presidency were the most choreographed in history. Air Force One is taxiing on the runway, then it proceeds to take off, and as it's taking off, you can hear Frank Sinatra's My Way bursting out of the speakers, and literally the plane is taxiing, and it's like, and yes, I did it my way. Oh my god, honestly. Watching the plane take off. And did it my... Oh my god. I was watching it on CNN Live, and you could hear the CNN anchors were just laughing when it started playing. It was the craziest thing ever. Perfectly choreographed, right to the very end. That is what Donald Trump is about. He is the president of chaos, and yet still at the same time, he can be the president of perfect choreography. Whoever got the timing of My Way right at Joint Base Andrews deserves a raise. They deserve a promotion to the highest job possible. That was just remarkable. Then the second that was done, you saw Biden in church with the First Lady and with congressional leaders from both sides of the aisle. So Biden had actually invited Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, Senate Democratic leader, Kevin McCarthy, who was the House Republican leader, and Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader. All of them were there at this sort of bipartisan morning mass, which was quite good to see, actually. And the really good thing to see was former Vice President Mike Pence attend the inauguration as well. That was really, really good, and I think was vital that we had some form of visible continuity from one administration to another. It was really good that Vice President Pence turned up. And, you know, whatever your political views of the former Vice President are, it was just a really, really, good moment for the country in the US to have that transition, even if it was just the Vice President, not the President himself. So looking ahead now, what has Biden got on his agenda? Well, he's already signed 17 executive orders. He has already rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, which was agreed in 2015. He has already required masks to be worn on all federal property and on US interstate travel as well. And over the next few weeks, we're going to see how the Biden administration really tackles the coronavirus pandemic. How are they going to ensure that the vaccine is distributed across the US? How are they going to ensure that they get case numbers down? How are they going to ensure that hospitals are able to have capacity? All these things are going to be up to the new administration. It's now on them to make this a success. The Trump administration is now gone. Early reporting shows that they left no plan for how to distribute the vaccine, so the Biden team is going to have to do that from scratch. But that is all their responsibility now. It is on them to get this pandemic under control. And as I always say with these things, we will just have to wait and see how it all pans out. But certainly many, many big sighs of relief from all around the world that Joe Biden has been inaugurated. Hopefully the start of a brand new dawn in the United States of America.